All right. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning in Hong Kong. What's happening? Um, Yesterday I was thinking to myself, how many people are truly happy right now? Truly happy with everything going on? Wearing the mask, wondering what's going to happen, losing their jobs. And I'm wondering how many people are pissed off at the Chinese government for basically changing their lives forever. And what really gets me is that the Chinese government just refuses to acknowledge any guilt, wants to place the blame on everybody else. And, it's par for the course, but, you know, it's irritating. I'm sure in Texas it's irritating. Good morning, everybody. Uh, here in Thailand, it's not quite as bad. Although, obviously, I'm not at home right now. I'm in the hospital. Nikki is knocked out, and he's now getting into the second phase of this dengue fever. Been sleeping just hours and hours. He woke up a few minutes ago. Hey, what's happening? He woke up a few minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago. Nurse came in, gave him the old sponge bath. And, he had a little bit of food, but he can't eat much because it makes him want to throw up. And he basically laid back down and he's asleep again. And he'll be sleeping until they come in and wake him up again, which, is par for the course. I mean, it doesn't matter what your illness is. It seems like they always want to wake you up. And, not that I'm complaining, because I want him to get the care he needs. But I've been here in this hospital, how long now? 8 out of the 10 last days. And every single time I've been here, I've slept like an hour and a half, and then I'm woken up. I'm woken up because they come in and he's knocked out. He's out cold. And usually they don't bother him, but they turn the lights on, and then I wake up and I'm like, what? And then, so I haven't been sleeping much, haven't gone anywhere. Alex comes and goes. His mother will be here tomorrow. She's got to work, The life goes on whether you're sick or not. But he's in the second phase now, and he's starting to feel the pain. The first couple of days he was like, "Oh, I don't feel that bad. I'm just a little hot, little bit, got a little bit of redness." And now the doctor said yesterday he's going to get into the second phase, like right now. His platelet count is down. If you know anything about dengue fever, that's pretty important, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But because I've learned a lot about this illness, I don't remember much when it happened to me. Just remember that my body was red, and that I had absolutely no strength, and I was just laid up, and I had to be basically carried into the hospital in a wheelchair. So, that's what's going on. It's not like I'm not running around, I'm not taking photos, I'm not shooting video, I got plenty of video to work with, which I am doing. But I'm on little sleep, so I'm taking little cat naps whenever I can. And just waiting for him to get better. Hopefully he'll be better. Wow, to 20, holy moly. Yeah, that's insane. A low platelet count is considered 150,000. And then you go below that. Alex had about 60 when he was in. He had 60,000. So, you know, that's considered very low, but 20 is, I would say he's probably on the verge of death. You know, I mean, that's really, really low. Now, today's shout out goes to Mr. Ken and Mr. Billy. So thank you very much. In case you don't know, this stream and a transfusion, wow, I would think so. This stream and all the videos on my channel are brought to you by you, like Trump does. It's brought to you by you, by you, by you. Shout out to Mr. Ken and Mr. Billy. Mr. William, Mr. Billy, Mr. Longhorns. Thank you. Anyway, it's just, everything is brought to you, by the Patreon patrons, the VIP, the VIPPE, no, the VIP members of my website and on YouTube. You can join on YouTube at the join button down below. And of course, your contributions and purchases like t-shirts, books, coffee mugs, that sort of thing. So thank you very much for those people who've been buying this stuff. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Head over to my website at americaninbangkok.com, or just take a look at the description down below, and you should see at least something. In the northern part of Northern America, you should see the video, the little windows for the t-shirts and mugs. But if they're not there, they're in the description. So anyway, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Now, let me just get right into everything because I got a lot of stuff to talk about, because I want to try to get everything done while he's crashed. No nurses are coming in. I was going to do it on the balcony, but it's so hot because the sun is rising and it hits this side of the building, and it's just ridiculously hot. In fact, didn't I write it down? I believe I did. At 7 o'clock in the morning, it was 81 degrees, feels like 88, but it was 90% humidity, which is crazy. 30% chance of rain. It's been raining every day. East-northeast winds 3 miles an hour. And the Thai baht is fluctuating slightly. It's 31.63 right now, which is, so I wanted it 50, but you know, it's not gonna happen. Now, why am I gonna stay put? You know, there's a lot of reasons. First of all, I do like it here. There are some good people here. There are some good things happening. I don't like everything. It's not perfect. I've said that a million times. I can find fault here without, you know, without much effort. But there's still a lot of things I like, and there's a lot of things in the United States right now that I don't like, and I know it's not everywhere, but still. Now, let me just say something like, I'm going to just talk a little bit about the NFL. Because I used to watch it all the time back in the days of the Miami Dolphins, the Oakland Raiders, when O.J. Simpson played, and he was somebody that was considered very special, not a criminal. You know, I used to watch religiously, and I used to go to the Orange Bowl. It used to be the Orange Bowl. I used to go, every once in a while I'd go with my Uncle Joe, and I'd go watch the games, and I loved it. Those were the days of Bob Greasy, Dan Marino, to a lesser extent, Bob Greasy, Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, Mercury Morris, Len Dawson from the Kansas City Chiefs, Fred Biletnikoff, Jack Tatum, Ken Stabler. I mean, those were the days, man. Fran Tarkington, Roger Staubach. And nowadays, I can't. I mean, in the last few years, I've watched a couple of playoff games. Yeah, you knew back then. But to be honest, I've only watched a few playoff games since I've been here. It started out that it wasn't a conscious effort. I was too busy doing things, running around, traveling. I just didn't really care enough. And even before I left, I had tickets to the LA, what was it called? I think it's the Inglewood Forum or whatever now, but it was called the Great Western Forum. And I used to get tickets from my boss to go to watch boxing because he knew I loved boxing. Yeah, the Zonk. Zonka he was badass. Nick Bonacani, middle linebacker, fantastic. But anyway, I used to get free tickets. I'd go watch boxing, and I'd get tickets to go see the Lakers when Magic played and Kareem was playing. And once in a while, I get tickets to go see the LA Kings. And guess what? Now, I'm not going to watch any of that shit. Nothing. I will never watch a Super Bowl again. I will go out of my way to not watch the games again. Not only because of the whole kneeling bullshit, but now because they've decided that everybody from the teams can put on the Black Lives Matter, they can put on the names of, say, George Floyd or what's his name, Rashad Brooks. They can do, Roman Gabriel, he was fantastic. Joe Namath, of course. But now, they're going to put on the names of whoever they want, because they're oppressed, because they're victims of police violence and all this other kind of stuff. I can't handle it. It's too much. First of all, the Olympics were always meant to not be political, and that's what sports is about. It's about not being political. It's about you take two teams, listen, when I played high school football, there used to be a team, Carroll City. They always killed us. Almost always. And we hated them. I mean, the schools hated each other. They had a violent dislike for each other. But when we went and played football, it was all about sportsmanship, shaking hands, and all these kind of things. I'll tell you what, in the last 6 months, I've never thought about skin color so much in my life. It's only because people are bringing it up all the time. It's never mattered to me. Now, when they decide they're going to have a black national anthem, when they're going to put criminals' names, and listen, Rashad Brooks was a criminal. George Floyd was a career criminal. Supposedly he was changing his life. Okay, great. What the police officer did was uncalled for. I understand that. But he was a longtime criminal. Rashad Brooks committed a criminal action. Nobody says, hey, listen, we need to stop fighting these cops. We need to stop doing these things. We need to stop committing crimes so that the cops get called out, and then we have to fight with them because we don't want to go to jail. They need to stop that. And I heard a guy, I've heard it many times, where people say, oh, that more blacks are killed than whites. Oh, yeah, well, the percentage, and people are talking about the percentages being different and all this kind of stuff. Well, the percentage, blacks are a minority, and so that's why there's less killed. Okay, maybe so, but guess what? There's a reason why there's a higher percentage of blacks pulled over, thrown in jail. Maybe it's because they're committing more crimes and they're doing stupid shit. And that's what it is. It's stupid shit. When a police officer says put your hands behind your back, man, you got to get your hands behind your back as fast as you can. You don't dick around and scratch your nose and scratch your ass and, well, you mean behind my back, man? Why do I have to do? No, you put your hands behind your back and that's it. You do what he tells you. It's as simple as that. I guarantee you they will lose. They will gain more lives by doing that than what's happened in the last, how many years. Put your hands behind your back. Do what they tell you. If you got to take responsibility, that's the thing. Listen, I remember, what was it? Oh, I had a DUI many years ago, 30-something years ago, 32 years ago. First one, only one, okay? Now, I got to tell the story. I haven't told this. Let me read some of the stuff here, though. Stay put, yes, the U.S. is going to shit, so is the U.S. dollar. You just can't print 3 rounds of trillions, blah, blah, blah. I saw that in 2006. All the parents make a tunnel with their arms and the kids run through and they say, yay. Yeah, I don't want to see that. This is the thing. There can only be one number one. There can only be one best. Stop comparing yourselves to others. If I compared myself to others, I'd be fucking depressed every minute of every day. Because there are guys out there, listen, there are guys out there, they come to Thailand, they don't have to say a word. The girls know they're coming. They're stars, whoever they may be, whatever nationality they may be. These chicks come, they flock. They're throwing them their panties, just like rock stars. That, you know, hey, why can't Scotty get some of that? Why didn't I ever get any of that? Maybe because I'm a normal dude who's not involved in something and I don't look like, you know, some male model. And I'm okay with that. I am who I am. I have my strong points and my weak points. You know what I'm saying? So these guys got to understand that you need to just say, hey, I am who I am. I fucked up. I committed a crime. I did whatever. I'm going to have to do the time. But you know what? And they don't think that way. And then when I'm in prison, I'm going to get my shit together. And I know it ain't easy, but they're going to have to do that. Otherwise, people like me will never have any sympathy for you. And I damn sure don't have any sympathy for the NFL for basically promoting Black Lives Matter, basically for promoting criminals. I look at that and I just go, what the fuck? Then I look at the left versus the right, and I'm thinking to myself, man, if I go back, I know it's probably not that bad. I can be in an area, and I could be away from people for the most part. I could be in an area that is predominantly white, predominantly Republican, whatever. And I probably wouldn't have any problems. But guess what? Thinking like that, it's not going to get me anywhere, because guess what? I'm just as locked down as I am right now. So I might as well stay put. This place, you know what? Listen, say what you will about Thais. The average Thai doesn't give a shit. As long as you're decent to them. Let me tell you something. I speak Thai to some of these Thais. They just want to sit down and talk to me. If I'm speaking English to me, they're like, to them, they don't even know if they want to talk to me. They don't. I mean, even today, I went to go buy a bagel. A girl downstairs, she's a trainee, and she's like, she looks at her boss and she just goes, she's nervous about talking to me. And I'm like, hey, it's no problem, you know, blah, blah, blah. I start talking to her a little bit. How are you? Good morning. Next thing you know, she's helping me. It's very easy to get along with people here. And the thing is, too, is there's always going to be people full of themselves. There's always going to be people like huge stars who think that they're really more important than they are. Go on YouTube, look up some star, and he's in his house quarantined. Most of the musicians that I've seen, they don't look all that good. They don't look like huge stars. They don't look like anything special. They're an average dude. They take a piss, they put their pants on, they take a dump, they walk around, they do things just like we do. They might just have a little more money, or they're doing something different than we are. Maybe a guy's a lawyer, maybe he's a doctor, maybe he's an accountant. That's his life, that's his lane. But these guys have a different lane, and most people never get to that lane. Most people will never become a rock star or an actor, a famous actor, or anything like that. And quite frankly, when I look at the football players, even Mercury Morris, now this is back in, 76 when they went undefeated, 76 or 77. The only team to go undefeated. Even later in his life, he had problems with drugs. But for the most part, the players back then, they had to me, they seem to have a lot more character than the guys now. Look at what's going on with Kanye West. I don't even look. All I do is see the headline. I won't even look at it. He's tweeting this and tweeting that, and he's bipolar, and his wife is going to divorce him, and then it's like, what does all that matter? It doesn't matter to me. I don't give a shit about Kanye West. I mean, as a human being, hey, it'd be nice that good things happen for the guy, but I think they have, especially if he's bipolar and he's got major mental issues. So, you know, as far as the football, I can't handle that. Then you're going to put the black national anthem. What happened to the national anthem being for everybody who's American? I'll put it very simply. Instead of saying Black Lives Matter, how about you say American Lives Matter? Because I wouldn't say White Lives Matter if somebody wasn't saying Black Lives Matter, because to me, it's not about the color. And so I keep thinking to myself, you know, what would I do if I went back and lived there? How would I live? And I'm like, fuck, man, I don't want to go back there. Ever. I don't ever want to go. I'll go there for a visit, to go visit my parents, go visit my family. That's it. Never. I don't want to live there. And I know there's some good places. There's some great places. Florida's got some fantastic places. There's great places all over the United States. But really, at this point, the way that things are going now, all I want to do is visit. It's a nice place to visit, and then that's about it. You know, why is the NFL, why is the Major League Baseball, why is the NBA, why are all these organizations, corporations sucking up to the Chinese? They're sucking up to Black Lives Matter. Oh, yes, but they never did before. Oh, now we've been woke. No, you know what? Listen, if you're that stupid, then that says everything right there. If you don't think that there's never racism, of course there's racism. There's racism all over the world. There's racism against me. Guess what? There is. And it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't like it when it happens. You know, I might be pissed off for 5 minutes, but I'm not going to go and beat somebody up. I'm not going to hit them over the head. I just deal with it and move on. And that's the difference. These people don't want to move on, because what they'd rather have is somebody like me, or somebody like Mr. Billy or Mr. Gennaro taking their tax dollars and giving to them for reparations so they don't have to do shit. You all right, Nick?
Yeah.
What are you going to do, take a leak? You cold?
No.
Okay. Florida's going to shit too. Yeah, I know. I know. My buddy just moved to Naples. They're a building session offer. Yeah. You want to say hello, Nikki?
Hi.
Nikki says hi. You all right?
Yeah.
How's your legs?
Pretty sore.
Pretty sore?
Yeah.
Well, walk slowly. Hang on to that thing. Now, one thing that, yeah, I mean, the reparations, forget about it. Reparations, listen, welfare was not meant for some lady, white or black, thank you, Gennaro, was not meant for some white or black or Latino or Chinese or whatever, Asian, for them to say, I'm going to have a bunch of kids and keep racking up the welfare dollars. That's not what it was for. It was for an emergency. It was for when somebody was down on their luck, they had very little, and they were struggling. And it was meant to help them and to give them a boost up so that they didn't have to worry as much. Just like the stimulus package that's coming up. Now, I dare say if they cut the amount of the checks down to, say, like $600 from $1,200, or they don't give a little bit more, I think people are going to be pissed. I think what's going on right now is this is a critical time in American history. Yeah, I've been wondering that for a long time there, Kurt. Right now, what I've been doing is, one thing that I have been doing is, as often as possible, I'm making it a point to at least attempt not to buy Chinese products. Not easy to do, but I'm attempting not to buy Chinese products. And again, I'll be boycotting the NFL and the NBA and the Major League Baseball, and unfortunately the hockey as well, although I'll keep an eye on that. just because I just don't want. I just don't think they warrant any of my. They don't warrant my views, any of my air. They don't warrant me promoting them by telling people what a great game it was or anything like that. Why would I do that? I just don't believe in what they stand for. And so that's my way of boycotting them and telling them that, they can piss off. Now, I wanted to talk about something here, if I can find it. Let's see here. Understanding dengue fever. I think it's very important that it's important. It's important that if you're going to come here, and who knows, you may not be here for another 5 years, I don't know. It's important that you know about it, and you know the symptoms. And like I was saying, Nicholas was in it's called the febrile phase, which just means it's he gets a fever, you get a fever, you get skin redness, you get a headache. He's got pain behind the eyes right now. That's why we got the lights off in here. The only light on in this room is the light right over me, because he's really sensitive to light. Severe joint and muscle pain, upset stomach where you feel like throwing up, where you do throw up, which my wife threw up multiple times because she was trying to eat. She said she felt hungry but didn't feel like eating, and then when she ate, she would throw up. So that's the first phase, the febrile phase. The next phase, which is the phase he's entering right now, is the critical phase, which lasts 2 to 3 days. Yes. Oh, I don't know if they're attracted to certain blood types, but my guess is they probably are, or certain blood, certain people's smells or whatever. Now, during this phase, severe pain in the belly. Didn't you say your stomach hurt? Was that yesterday? A little bit, okay. Vomiting that won't stop, fluid in the chest and belly, fast breathing, low blood pressure, and bleeding. Person with severe dengue may have trouble breathing, severe bleeding, damage to organs, or dengue shock syndrome. This can be fatal and is a medical emergency. During the recovery phase, which is the third phase, there is an overall improvement. This is where Alex is. There may also be a rash and itchy skin. There may be heart and lung problems. And Alex has told me that he's had some problems breathing. He feels really weak. Bleeding under the skin, which is why you get what's called pinprick blood spots. The main concern of dengue is the second phase. Well, he's in the second phase, like right now, and his platelet count dropped. I don't know what I'm trying to think of what the percentage was. About 30% from yesterday to the day before, and so they're checking it. They're going to be in here probably 10 o'clock. Did they check it already?
No.
Yeah, they'll be here at 10 o'clock to check his blood. There is no vaccine for dengue fever, although I did see something about a vaccine that tampers the effects if you have more than one strain of the dengue. There's 4 strains, apparently. So they've already come out here. The Thai government has come out, sprayed around our house twice already, and we've been spraying inside the house. But, dengue's huge, and listen, malaria, dengue, all kinds of mosquito, viral infections, mosquito-borne, waterborne viruses are transmitted by the mosquito. Mosquito is the deadliest animal in the world. What was it? Oh, I don't have it there. Let me see if I can see. But it's the deadliest, and then that's followed by, I think, snakes and crocs. Let me see here. Where's it at here? History. Wednesday. Lions are in there. Hippos, Elephants. What happened to it? Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of salties that kill people in Australia all the time. I'm trying to find this list. Of course, I didn't save it. Oh well. Let me see here. Maybe I can just type that in. Deadliest. Oh, here we go. 15 deadliest animals in the world. I hadn't planned on talking about this, but here are the 15 deadliest. Sharks, 6 deaths a year. Wolves, 10 deaths a year. Lions, 22 plus deaths a year. Elephants, 500 deaths a year. Hippos, 500 deaths. 500 deaths a year. Number 9, tapeworms, 700 deaths a year. Is that number 9? Number 10, crocodiles, 1,000 deaths a year. Ascaris roundworms, 4,500 deaths a year. Never heard of that. I heard of roundworms. Number 5, the tsetse fly, 10,000 deaths a year. That's the sleeping sickness. You go to sleep and you don't wake up. Number 7, fresh snails. Fresh snails. They have a disease called schistomiasis that causes intense abdominal pain and blood in the stool or urine. And it kills approximately 20,000 people per year. Dogs, 35,000. Actually, dogs kill more people than hippos. Snakes, 100,000 deaths per year, so far more than hippos. But hippos is one of the deadliest in Africa. It is, I think it is the deadliest. Snakes, 100,000 plus. Humans, 437,000 deaths per year. Humans kill, this is as of 2012. And then mosquitoes. Mosquitoes kill 750,000 per year. I would say deadlier than the Democrats is the CCP. Really, that's pretty strange. But that's the thing. When you start eating stuff that most people don't eat, I mean, snails is escargot. But I guess it depends on the type of snail you're eating. So mosquitoes are obviously very dangerous. If you come here, wear long sleeve shirts when you can. You're gonna get bit eventually. I don't get bit very much here. If I do, I get bit right around the ankles. I get the little ankle biters. And, but most of the time I don't get bit at all. So, anyway, on to the next subject. Now, I don't know if you saw President Trump's latest press conference, but he said that the Chinese virus crisis is going to get worse before it gets better. And I'm not going to read through this article because that's basically all he said. Some countries are doing well, some are not. I honestly believe that we're not going to recover from this for 5 to 10 years now. I was thinking about it. In Thailand, they're like, oh, all the tourists will be back next year, no later than the middle of 2022. And I'm like, okay, maybe, but what about all the other places? And how many people really want to go? A lot of people want to come to New York, but how many want to go now? Do I want to go now? No, I don't want to go. And this is the other thing, all this misinformation and, there's so much information out there. You don't know who to believe. For me, it's like I look at it like this. I don't want to wear a mask, but I'll wear it because I don't want to get somebody else sick. I don't want to get sick. I'll do what I can. I'll wash my hands. They have a gel thing over here at the end of the bed. So every time you walk by there, you just put some on your hands and you make sure you got clean hands. You know, I mean, it's not that difficult. And maybe it'll work. But if it doesn't work, we'll see. Now, speaking of the CCP and the Uyghurs, I can't remember what, oh, it was on the BBC, I think. And the guy was telling this Chinese ambassador, I think it was the BBC, he was telling the ambassador, look at these satellite photos, look at this video, look at this footage. People are handcuffed, they're being put onto trains, they have hoods on. These are Muslims. What do you have to say about this? Oh, I don't know where you got the video. We're telling you that this came from a certain particular place in China, which I don't remember. And he, you know, like always, he would not admit a damn thing. Never. So the problem of this, the virus, and the problems that are going on in the United States, Black Lives Matter, left against the right, all these issues, food shortages, which, by the way, I have to say this, I went to the grocery store the day that I found out that Nicholas, where was I? I went to the dentist. And then after the dentist, I went to the grocery store. My wife and Nicholas and Alex were here at the hospital. Nicholas was getting his check, or Alex was getting his checkup. Nicholas was getting seen. He got put in the hospital. That was on Monday. And so I was at the grocery store. I bought a bunch of groceries, and I was amazed. There is such a shortage of goods in this grocery store. It's the only grocery store I've been to in a while. 7-Eleven, there are some shortages, but nothing major. You know, a few items, and I'm like, man, they're out? You know, they usually have everything you need. I went looking for some paper in one 7-Eleven, went to another one, they didn't have the paper. They usually have paper, it's, you know, print out from for your computer, you know, for your printer. Didn't have them. Neither place had them. I had to go to a third place. Finally, they had them, and there was like one pack. That was it. Usually, they have 4 or 5 packs. They're like 40 baht each, but none of them had them. There was some other stuff that I tried to get there, and there was stuff I tried to get at the grocery. Pasta sauce. They have like 20, maybe 30 cans of and bottles of pasta sauce. Usually, they have like 500. They're running out of oatmeal. They're running out of all kinds of things. There's still some meat. There still seems to be plenty of meat. Oh, actually, they've run out of the hot dogs. The hot dogs that I like, they don't have any. The other hot dogs I like don't have any. They're running out of hot dogs. So there is a food shortage. I guarantee you there's a food shortage here, and if there's a food shortage here, there's certainly a food shortage in the United States. And I've had numerous people tell me that they've had problems getting certain items. And we're not talking about toilet paper. We're talking about different food items and household items. Guess what? It's all because of the CCP. And you know, the thing is the CCP should be paying for all this. They should be paying every government. They shouldn't have any problem at all doing this. But see, they never will. They won't even, they're not going to compromise at all. What's happened there, Polska? They're not going to compromise. They're not going to give in. They're not going to go, oh, well, you know, because once they say, we'll pay a little bit, that means they're guilty. You know, they're admitting guilt. So I said it a long time ago. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But now seeing what I see, it's going to continue to get worse. It's going to get worse here. I'm honestly, one reason I'd like to stay put here is because it, you know, really, compared to in the United States, it's much cheaper to live here. We can live, you know, if we have to, you buy a couple bags of rice, you buy a little bit of meat, you know, you buy a bunch of chicken, and, you know, we can survive. In the United States, I don't know. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. What if, you know, if they got major food shortages and stuff like that. Thank you very much there, Polska. Appreciate that. And you are first of the day, so that's good luck for you, as they say here. Distributors in the U.S. are running short of aluminum. Canned goods are Running shallow in the food, and yet not yet noticed on our shelves, but running shallow. Wouldn't surprise me. So anyway, but Trump said this. And of course, the left is making a big deal about it, you know. Well, you said this before, said that. Listen, he doesn't know. I don't give a shit he's president or not. He's got access to all the information. The best scientists in the world don't know when this is going to end. And Fauci said, I think it was today, maybe it was yesterday, yeah, he'll bankrupt the country. The dollar won't be worth shit anymore. But Fauci said, don't expect this virus to be eradicated. It's not going to be. What does that tell you? Trump's talking about a vaccine. People are talking about vaccines. When I see a vaccine and they say, from now on, you won't get it. It's been proven in, 10,000, 20,000 people. Then maybe I'll believe it. Right now, I just think it's a bunch of bullshit. They're just they're stalling. They're stalling for time. Now, I don't know if anybody else has seen, I'm sure Mr. Billy knows, but China is now threatening retaliation after the United States ordered closure of the Houston consulate, which I think is fantastic. I think they ought to close every single one of them. They need to tell China, fuck off. So they're gonna check his blood pressure, wake him up. It seems there will be more than one vaccine, but it looks like you'll need it yearly, like the flu vaccine. Ugh. Yeah, so who knows what's gonna happen with that? Let me let her do her thing here. Well, YouTube will send it to me next month. But thank you very much. Obviously I do worry about the currencies, the various currencies. เมื่อก่อนเขามีสองครับตอนนี้ก็มีอันเดียว
มีอันเดียว
แต่เมื่อก่อนก็มีสอง
อ๋อ มันน่าจะไม่พออะค่ะ
ก็หนึ่งก็ไม่พอ
เดี๋ยวเอาเข้ามาให้ใหม่
ครับครับ He likes to have the cold pack on his head because his head hurts, his neck hurts. He said to me that if he turns left to right, thank you very much there, Victory Lap. Yeah, I know that's the problem with YouTube. You know, they every once in a while they'll come out with some survey asking what people want, and every single time, most of the people, what they want is they want Google to charge less. They don't want them taking 30%. They take 45% of the ad revenue. It's no wonder it's hard to make money. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like, well, listen, I got a great business, but I'm giving 45% away of it. If your profit's only 30%, you're not making shit, You all right, Nick?
Yeah.
You want some help with that?
No.
All right.
Okay.
Got to change the cold pack like once an hour. But yeah, I saw that about them burning the papers inside of the consulate, and they asked Trump, will you be closing more consulates? And he said, it's possible. And, for them, they're threatening the United States. And this is what they said. They condemned what it called an unprecedented escalation by the United States and threatened to retaliate after it was ordered to close the Chinese consulate in Houston. I don't see a problem with it. Charles, thank you very much. Appreciate that. They're always demanding. They didn't just condemn. They demanded that the United States allowed their consulate to stay open. And, China demands the U.S. revoke the wrong decision. If the U.S. went ahead, China would take necessary countermeasures, Wang said. This is Wang Wenbin, who is the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson. And so here they are demanding. Listen, I don't know about you guys, but like I'm an American and I'm still, I mean, I feel, I've been here a long time. There are times that I think in Thai sometimes. There are times when I want to do things the Thai way. Definitely it's influenced my life, mostly for the better. But there are times when I think, I'm an American. If somebody demands something from me, most of the time, what's your first response? Fuck you. It's very simple. When somebody demands something from you, I demand you marry me. What? You demand? Now, if you're a simp and you cave because they're demanding it, then you deserve whatever you get. But if you are somebody who, you think for yourself, you're a strong, critically thinking person with some semblance of intelligence, when somebody demands something, you're like, what? Wait a minute. What? I demand you do this. You demand. So in other words, you are trying to force me to do something. When the Chinese government says to the United States government, we demand you revoke your wrong decision, I guarantee you, people in the White House are going, tough shit. It's too bad. Gotta check his saline solution. So now they're talking about taking necessary counter precautions. I sure hope that the United States is working on the pharmaceuticals. I don't know, Longhorns. I never look. I'll say this. They're young and fit. What is it? What's the thing? The girl from Ipanema? Young and lean. What is it? Let me see here. Yeah, what is it? Tall and lean. Let me see here. What's the lyrics? It's all in Thai. Why is it in Thai? Tall and tan and young and lovely. There you go. Most of them. There's some that are not so lovely. But, that doesn't really matter, What matters is that Nikki is well taken care of. Now I'm going to show you something. This is pretty much what he does the last couple of days, and this is what Alex has done every day. He's hot, he's cold. He's hot, he's cold. He's got 2 blankets on. He doesn't want to eat. You got to make him drink, It's definitely not fun for him. And it is a little hard on me, too. I mean, I don't like to see him like this, and I don't like to see Alex like that. And Alex is just now starting to get a little better. But, it's nothing to joke around with. You got to be careful, man. Those skeeters will get you. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about... I'm going to go over this real quick. Another Black Lives Matter kind of thing. The United States is so racist. This pisses me off because... Intermission. Oh, popcorn. Now he's got his second, you know, they got the little, the gel pack that gets cold. And he had two, and somebody took one. You know, one of the nurses probably took it or whatever, but so she just put another one in. But now, excuse me, the Associated Press, Reuters, what is it? What was the one? The Style Guide. Let me see here. There's the MLA Style Guide. There's all kinds of style guides, but there's one I'm trying to think of which is the. Can't even remember right now. Not the Elements of Style. Yeah, writing style guides. BBC has it. Anyway, all of them have the Chicago Manual of Style. That's the big one, or at least it used to be. Anyway, the Associated Press, they're changing their guide. So now they announced that they're going to capitalize the word black when it's used to describe racial, ethnic, or cultural topics, but decided this week that white will not receive the same treatment, partially because the news gathering service feels capitalizing white could subtly legitimize white supremacy beliefs. This just fucking burns me up. What about black supremacy beliefs? It's just ridiculous. Oh, we gotta capitalize now. Style will continue to lowercase the term white in racial, ethnic, and cultural senses. AP Vice President and Editor-at-Large for Standards, John Daniszewski. AP typically sets the style standard as used in newsrooms throughout the country, so the decision will impact hundreds of publications. No, it won't, because a lot of places, a lot of writers will go, screw you, we're not capitalizing it. I can't get it. You know, I just don't get it. Oh, Mr. Billy, I think you have a fanboy. Anyway, so I thought I'd go over that a little bit. Now, as I talked about a couple of days ago, want some water?
Speed.
Again? All right, let me make sure it's all right here. How's the legs? Are they worse or
No,
the same?
same.
Okay. Just be careful. If you fall and I'm not there to pick you up, your mother's gonna have my ass. Look like a zombie, man. Another interruption. Huh? What? Oh. Time to draw his blood. 5 minutes to 10, he's early. All right. I love to see Nicky get his blood taken. Boy, he looks bad today. Anyway, we're gonna talk about the visa amnesty. Emergency decree extended. Now, on Tuesday I talked about this, and they did approve an extension for those foreigners who have, I think it was after March 26th, they were here. They get until September 26th. So now there's no need to visit the local immigration offices or get an embassy letter, and no 90-day report requirement. I filed my 90-day report online. It wasn't a big deal. I never understand this 90-day report. They make it such a big deal. I guess if you're in the boonies, it's a big deal. But, you know, if you're in Bangkok or a big city, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. It's estimated that this measure, this extension, will impact up to 250,000 stranded foreigners behind Thailand's borders. I didn't know there was that many. Details of the decision were given by the government's deputy spokeswoman, Traisuri Taisaranakun. She said it would help foreign tourists stranded behind Thailand's borders. There are an estimated 250,000 still here. The amnesty only applies to visa holders who arrived in Thailand before March 26th. Before March 26th, the day that Thailand declared a state of emergency, but after January 20th, January 2020. There will be further announcements to come on the details of the provision that was agreed at today's government meeting. So yeah, it's been extended. I don't understand why they're still here. You know, maybe they spent all their money and they have no way to get home now. And unfortunately, what that means is paying like full fare. And, you know, that sucks because it's expensive. So, you know, if you might have to pay $1,500 for a ticket that's normally like $600. You know, so I can see where some people would have a problem, but I don't know why so many people are still here, 250,000. That's a lot of tourists that haven't left. Deputy Army Chief explains why the state of emergency is required to run the entry, screening, and quarantine operations for returning Thais and foreigners gaining access to the kingdom. You know, there's been a lot of problems here lately because of this emergency decree, because some people think that it's just a political move. I personally, listen, like I always say, I don't want to get involved in the politics here because I don't vote. And it's not, you know, I don't have that right. But I don't think at this time it's about political control right now. It's just my own personal belief. I don't think that they're thinking, oh, we've got to control everybody. I do think that they're worried that if they let people come in, people are going to come in with a virus and it's going to explode again, and they're going to be in worse shape than they are right now. At least now there are domestic tourists, and there are still some tourists left, and there are expats. Well, if I was going to go to the United States, at least I would know I could leave. You know, and I would know I have a place to stay and that kind of thing. The EU, listen, you know, Steve from Steve's Kitchen, I believe he's still stranded in Turkey. He can't leave. Everywhere he needs to go it's far too difficult to get in there. Is this moving the 90 days report past the 31st this month for everyone? Or is this the one you need to apply for? Read the second one. The 90-day report, supposedly you don't have to report until after the 26th of September. Everybody is supposed to have they're supposed to have that extended. However, I personally think that if you have a way to file your 90-day report, like online, you do it. You know, and if you have a way to get your visa, you do it. Because then you're not going to be stuck where you have to go in when the mad dash is. You're not going to be stuck. Now, one thing that I think they should do, it's my own opinion, is give a grace period. Don't give a grace period of a week, because that means everybody's going to be rushing. Give a grace period of, say, 15 days. And then that way, you know, you say, okay, the 26th is the last day. You got 2 weeks from then. See. Okay, so they opened on July, I think what it was is they opened on July 5th, and I think they reclosed it. even if direct flights haven't resumed from all countries. I forget what exactly he told me, but he said that it's very difficult for him to get anywhere that he wants to go. It's more expensive. But let me see something here. Let's see here. All right, let me say this here. What does this say? There is no coverage available for COVID. God damn it. I didn't have to do this before. Of course, they figured out. What was the thing that I was looking at before? I think it was the World Nomads or something, where they tell you the countries that are open and what's going on with that. Wanderlust. Okay, that's what it was. I thought it was World Nomads. Oh, I just turned the air off for you. You all right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll turn it back on. All right, this is as of July 22nd. Turkey has begun reopening its international air borders. Flights between UK and Turkey have resumed. All passengers who meet Turkish immigration rules are allowed to enter Turkey. Be aware that passengers need to wear a face mask at all times on the flight and at the airport. Before flying, passengers will need to complete a passenger locator form. Any passenger who shows symptoms of coronavirus will have to take a test. Okay. So, yeah, I guess it is open, but I don't think any of the places that he has it as on his list of places to go aren't available. I don't know. You can only leave the U.S. to go to what? You could come to Thailand, I would think, if you have all the paperwork. You can go to Tanzania, as far as I know. There's a lot of places open now. It's a matter of what they're going to need. There is a travel ban. It includes Ireland and the UK as of March 16th. Travelers from UK, Ireland, and Shenzhen area will be denied entry into the US. Wow. Okay. Anyway, the visa amnesty is until September 26th. Hopefully they'll give a couple of weeks of leeway, and they'll tell people ahead of time, hey, listen, as of September 26th, the extension is going to be stopped. It's going to cease, and you're going to have a 2-week grace period, and that's it. You're going to have to be out by then, or you're going to start accumulating fees or whatever. I would think that they would do that. Now, it's here on yesterday. The Center of COVID has approved the entry of foreign business reps, specialists, diplomats, migrant workers, exhibitors, film crews, medical tourists, and Thailand elite card members. The center approved their arrival in principle, and relevant ministries would work out the details before their visits would begin. So it'll take a little bit of time. It might take a couple days, it might take a couple weeks, but the labor ministry would handle details for bringing in unskilled workers from Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar to meet the demand for labor. There are a lot of restaurants and shipping companies and things that use people from, say, Myanmar and Laos and Cambodia. This includes 69,235 workers who already had work permits and visas and wanted to return to work in Thailand. Local employers plan to bring in another 42,168 workers who do not already have work permits or visas. Here we go. Conventional state quarantine, in which a room served only one person, would cost nearly 20,000 baht per person, and that was not wanted by the companies. So that's why they've waited. Yeah, this is such a mess. It's like, well, you can't come in because you haven't done this and you haven't done that. Whatever happened to the freedom of travel? You want to go, you go. Those days are over. That's what I mean. I'm going to figure it may never be over, or it's going to take, I'm going to say at least 5 years. So what is this, 2020, which is a shitty year so far. Been really shitty. I mean, both kids got the dengue. You got the CCP virus. You got all the crap going on in the United States. You can't really travel very easily. It's like it used to be, everything used to be so easy. And now it's not. Now, what I'm wondering is how everybody's doing back in the States, because I know several people have written me and said, they're waiting to find out what happens with the stimulus package, because if they don't have it, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very, very hard on them. Some of them need medical procedures. They can't get them done. Even my mother told me the other day, she said, I went to a dental office and they told me, oh, we're going to have to reschedule you. And she said, well, will you put me on the list? And it was like next month. And they said, well, can you put me on a list? And then if you have an opening, you'll put me in first. And they said, yeah, okay. So then my father made an appointment, and his appointment was before hers. She's like, hey, wait a minute. How is he going first? He applied for, he wanted an appointment. He made an appointment, but he made it after I did, but his appointment is before me, but you told me there were no openings. So this is such a mess. It's all encompassing. Besides the lockdown, which is a huge deal, you don't have the freedom to move around and go places, and then you got the cops who are, some of them are, it's like you go out in your front yard to get a breath of fresh air, and you don't have a mask on, and maybe they'll lock you up or something. I mean, between these kind of things and what's going on politically, and then the rest of the world still having problems with this is a crappy year. 2020 is the year of, it's not the year of the tiger or year of the rabbit, it's the year of the Chinese turd, which is what they dropped on us, a big Chinese turd. Well, yeah, what's going to happen with the cold? What's going to happen with the heat? I'm still trying to figure out, is it the humidity here, the heat and humidity that has prevented the virus from growing here? Is it erroneous information? I don't think that it is. And I even said to the doctor, I said, listen, we were worried about this being, we were worried about, maybe they had the COVID or something. And he's like, no. These symptoms are completely different from the COVID, and they don't have the COVID. And, my wife was like, do you really think they'd be walking around and they would be as lax as they are? I wouldn't even be allowed in here unless I had a full suit on, And I don't think that they would do this, where they would say, oh, well, we're not gonna tell anybody. It's a secret, I mean, I just don't think that, I think, the word would be out by now. All right, what is this here? All friends and family in California say, do not come back on our side. The states are screwed, yeah, until November 3rd. But this is November 3rd now. Right now it's November 3rd. When November 3rd comes, it could be February 3rd of next year or March 3rd of next year. They couldn't just keep doing it. We haven't got rid of it. We haven't eradicated it. Even if you wear a mask, it's not going to go away. I just don't think it's going to go away. It's going to be a flu. It is a flu. It is a virus. Influenza. Why are there new flu deaths? I don't know. I don't know if that's true, actually. I believe there are flu. My aunt has stage 3 cancer. It started skin on her back. She had to wait 2 months. See, yeah, I know people that's happened to personally, you know, and that's obviously not very good. And so I heard yesterday 70% of the beds in Florida are full. I don't know whether it's true or not. You know, you always got to wonder. All right, let's see here. 630,000 deaths attributed to this. Yeah, that's the other thing. Listen, I worry about, you know, if I need to get into the United States for some kind of emergency, am I going to be able to do so and then get back to my family? That's what I worry about. You know, as far as traveling goes, yeah, it's great to be able to travel, but quite honestly, I'm happy right now traveling through Thailand and doing these things, which I'll get to in a minute. But yesterday it says no new cases. Oh, wait a minute, that's today. Total deaths, new deaths. In the United States, 1,205. UK, 79. Where's Australia? Is Australia way down there? Austria? Australia, 2. 2 deaths in Australia. November 3rd, election day. Yeah, well, this is another thing. I don't want to say I'm optimistic because I'm not. I'm fearful of the election because I think this will be the most explosive election in recent history. Again?
No.
Oh. You cold?
No. Penguin's not comfortable.
It's not comfortable?
Yeah.
Well, just keep trying to get comfortable. You'll fall asleep soon. All right? You gotta sleep. Sweden will have handled it properly. Well, let me see here. What we got? What's the numbers for Sweden? Sweden has 5,667 deaths, 78,504 cases, only 132 new cases. But, you know, Sweden is a bit of a different country. It's, first of all, obviously it's very cold, but it's wide open, except for in the major cities. So, you know, maybe that's why. I don't know, man. You know, if I knew, you know, I'd be a wealthy man and I would have saved the world already. It's not going to happen, though. All right, where am I at here? Another thing, here's the thing, too. You know, by the time this is all over, if the governments don't help the airlines, will there be any airlines left to fly us? And right now it says this Southeast Asia's, I'm reading an article here, Southeast Asia's budget airline dilemma. We already know that Nok Scoot went out of business. Malaysia's Air Asia Group and Vietnam's Vietjet are publicly canvassing their cash flow and funding problems. Indonesia's Lion Air, which I was going to use a little while ago, has shelved the planned flotation this year. Prior to the disruption, there were questions raised about whether new aircraft ordered during a frenzied decade of new plane orders by Southeast Asian carriers would ever end up actually being delivered. Whilst the high-profile owners were popping the champagne with sales executives from Airbus and Boeing, bankers and leasing bosses were scratching their heads, wondering how it was all going to happen. So let me see here. It looks like, yeah, Thai Airways is wading through bankruptcy proceedings. Um, Air Asia is having problems. Singapore Air, Thai Vietjet. Before the pandemic kicked off in the region, Vietjet had ordered planes from both Airbus and Boeing so it could launch subsidiaries in multiple countries. So far, the only offshoot has been in Thailand, Thai Vietjet, where it competes against Thai Air Asia and Thai Lion Air. Air Asia says they expect to reach 70 to 75% of normal capacity by the end of the year, assuming everything keeps heading in the right direction, but the pandemic has already proven that nothing is set in stone. That's the whole thing. You know what? You want to know why I want to stay put? Because nothing is set in stone. And then you got political turmoil in the United States, where I'm from. You know, I learned a long time ago, when you're really, really unsure of things, sometimes taking that step, like when I was in a fire and I was like, I got to get out of here and save my wife and kids, wasn't the brightest move. I should have stayed put. And guess what? I would have listened to a lot of people crying. I would have been scared. I bet it would have been worrying about if my family was going to get, burned or something like that. But I wouldn't have ever fallen from the 4th floor. So sometimes it pays to just stay where you are and just wait and see how things pan out. And I think when it comes to what's going on right now, I think that's important. The thing about COVID tests in different countries is a threshold. Different thresholds. Only go to Taiwan to test is pegged at only 7 deaths in 2 months. Good. Another nail in his political coffin. The Dems know he cannot win, hence what they're doing. I can't even listen to that guy. Honestly, I can't even listen to Biden. I can't listen to any of these. I can't listen to Schumer. Can't listen to Pelosi. Why is it all these Democrats are so freaking irritating? They're all irritating. Look at the Chicago mayor. What the fungulo? And then she's bitching about Trump bringing in people to help. What about St. Louis? They're arresting the people who pulled out guns because they want to protect themselves at their house, and the people were trespassing and threatening them. It's not a world I want to live in. You know what I mean? There's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's more than one way to live your life. And one thing that a buddy of mine said, well, yeah, she's a weird one, that one, for sure. But one thing my buddy was telling me, he said, you don't really think about it this way, but you're living outside what most people consider normal. And, I am. I'm living in a different way than most people. I've been living long before YouTube. And most people that I know here are living in a different way. My buddy works for a company, and while, at one point he had to go into an office, now it's like, hey, listen, the office is too goddamn expensive. We want to keep working and making money, but really we don't need to go into an office. We can telecommute. He can work from anywhere. If he wants to go back to the United States and stay with his family, he can do that. But getting back in here, if he wants to, is going to be tough, and he doesn't really want to go back to the United States. So there's all kinds of law-abiding citizens are in trouble in America if this keeps up, yeah. Since the Law and Justice Party in Poland won last week, they're good for another 5 years. Yeah. Whilst the low-budget carriers continue to get their fleets back and into the skies, they still have hundreds of planes gathering dust and have a long road ahead before they will be needing any new planes. Even so, they may find it easier and cheaper to lease older, unused planes that are laying idle for the rest of the world's fleets. The Dems do not want federal troops in, as their plan is to bring in the UN. There are already thousands of UN vehicles, troops transport. Well, I mean, you're going to bring the UN into the United States? The UN is freaking worthless. Now, one thing here is that although the emergency decree is still in effect, the protests are still allowed. So, that says something in itself there. It says government officials insist the emergency measures are for guarding against the resurgence of the coronavirus and are unrelated to the ongoing protests. Well, I don't know about that. So funny that the best person could have. I mean, this is the problem. I mean, listen, Trump, he's done some good things, and he does things his own way. And I mean, he stood up to China. He's done a lot of things that other people, they won't do. Can I? Yes, I can. But why would I? For what? For $20? I mean, really, for $100, I'm going to do that and risk my ass here in Thailand? It's not really worth it. Even taking photos here, I'm like, you know what? This is the one place I don't want to do this kind of stuff. At this point in my life, why do I need to? Think about it. I'm almost 60 years old. I don't want any problems, here in Thailand. No, I don't think so, Gennaro. I think you're screwed no matter what. It says here, the only tool this is what was said by General Somsak Rungsita, Secretary General of the National Security Council. He said yesterday, the only tool that guarantees economic measures to be balanced against public health concerns is the emergency decree. The extension will be formally endorsed by the cabinet in our next meeting. General Somsak said the decree will no longer ban gatherings. So right now their gatherings are banned. He said that this shows that the emergency decree has the sole and pure intention of controlling the disease. He added that demonstrators must still abide by other laws related to public assemblies. It says student activists announced that more rallies will take place from this week through August. So that's something else that's going on here. I don't understand it. It's like, to me, the whole, I just went, I'm like, hey man, what was that thing in the Fast Times at Ridgemont High? All I need is some tasty waves and some cool buds, and I'm fine. Well, I don't need the cool buds, really, but basically the sentiment is that most people just want to chill, man. They want to be laid back. They don't want any hassles. They don't want any problems from the government. It's the last thing they want. But there's problems all over the world. The world's gone, it's a world gone mad. That's kind of how I look at it right now. It really is. It's a world gone mad. Now, where is this here? Hang on a second here. Oh, God. A couple is finally going home after their 5-day Caribbean vacation turned into a 5-month coronavirus lockdown. One thing I never found out about is there was a couple that was detained in Phnom Penh, and they were forced to go through a quarantine, and they were basically held, I don't want to say at gunpoint, but they were held by the Cambodian police and told they can't go anywhere. And they made a big deal about it in the news, and then they never followed up. No news afterwards. Let me see here. Couple is finally going home after their 5-day Caribbean vacation turned into a 5-month coronavirus lockdown. Turks and Caicos closed its borders in March to stop the spread of the coronavirus, stranding tourists who were visiting the islands. The territory ended its lockdown on Wednesday, allowing tourists James Oliger and Romain Ricaldi to return home to New York after 5 months. The Turks and Caicos is almost entirely dependent on U.S. tourism, and the lockdown is estimated to cost the territory $22 million a month. Wow. These two guys, they went to the Turks and Caicos in March for a 5-day vacation, but they got trapped there, and they've been stuck there for 5 months. The island is completely dead. All reservations canceled. The beach is basically a private beach for us, and everything is shut down, which is kind of nice. Now, that said, let me see what was written here. you just stay on it. You don't even have to go as far as Catalina. Now that said, let me see if I can find this here. Yes, I did. I've been contemplating where my next step is. All right, I got 73 votes so far on where to go. The choice is, the first choice is Loei to Phitsanulok to Uttaradit to Nan, which is me following the outer edge of Thailand, which is something I'd like to do. The next is to go to Chiang Rai. The next is a place that the Soy Dog Cowboy recommended in Lopburi, Khao Wang Pachan. It's a big mountain where you got to go up almost 4,000 steps to get to the top. Mount Makoju, which is my recommendation, which is 3 to 5 days, a trek that's 3 to 5 days. And then the last choice was Up to You, which, you know, I put that up to you. And the majority of people, it's up to you. Right now, it's about 46% up to you, 21% going around the outer edge of Thailand. That's Loei, Phitsanulok, Uttaradit, and Nan. And then followed by Chiang Rai, then by Mount Makoju, 13%. Chiang Rai was 19%. The outer edge is 21%. And Lopburi is a whopping 1%. So those are the places that I'm considering. Now, I'm not going to go anywhere with my kids like this. I need to make sure that they both get better. Alex has school to go to. Nicholas is going to have to make up school. He's going to be out a whole week, at least. We're hoping that he gets out this weekend. And apparently his teacher's going to come visit this weekend, which would be nice. But maybe she can give him all the homework that he has to make up because, you know, that always sucked when you're sick and you got to make up homework. But as soon as I get through this with them, it should be, I'd say, 2 weeks, no more than 3 weeks, and I'll be back out again on the road somewhere. So, you know, it will happen. I haven't made any final decision yet. I'm still looking at airline tickets. I'm thinking about, you know, taking a train. There's a lot of ways to do this. I don't know, you know, most of his teachers are older. Nicholas, you awake? No, he's out. Most of his teachers are older or they're guys, you know. But I think it was him. It was either he or Alex had one, and she was young, and everybody liked her. And then I met her, and I went, "Oh, teacher, huh?" You know, I was like, she was a cute girl. I was like, she's probably sweet talks these kids, man. She probably gets them to do whatever they want, whatever she wants, because she was a nice looking girl, and she was very polite, very nice, you know, very proper, and so they probably are, you know. I mean, listen, you know, Nicholas and Alex, you know, they like to fight and they do their thing, you know, where they, you know, they're a little mischievous, but nothing bad. They're very, very good kids. And, you know, compared to me, it's like night and day. I tell my mother about it, you know, I tell my mother will ask me about them or whatever, and she knows that they're good kids. But she'll tell me, "You remember when you used to do this? You used to do that?" I'm like, "No." She's like, she told me I was a horrible kid. I was a monster when I was young. I was very sweet, but when it came to getting in trouble, I was always getting in trouble. It doesn't surprise me. So, what is this? So this is more about the mosquitoes, travel updates. Now, let's look at something for Mr. Longhorns. Ecuador is open. International flights to and from Ecuador have resumed. Restriction on international arrivals has been lifted. Upon arrival, passengers will be required to sign a declaration form with their itinerary and local contact details. They must also present a negative polymerase chain reaction PCR test for COVID-19, taken up to 7 days prior to departure. If those tests aren't available in your country, you need to agree to have a test at the airport in Ecuador. All passengers will have to self-isolate for 14 days. So that's not a great thing, but at least you can get in. Colombia's land and sea borders are now closed, including the border with Ecuador, with effect from March 23rd. Airports are closed to international traffic. So you won't be going to Colombia. Asia, everything is still closed up. Bangladesh is open. Cambodia is, basically open. All these have stipulations. Iran, Lebanon, South Korea, Taiwan, UAE, Uzbekistan. Here you go, Uzbekistan. Here's another one. It is possible to enter Uzbekistan for business visits. Uzbekistan is expected to be open to UK tourists soon. At the moment, those from the UK will have to go into a 14-day quarantine. Uzbekistan has introduced a $3,000 COVID-free guarantee. This means that those who travel to Uzbekistan with a local tour operator or a small tour will be compensated $3,000 in the unlikely case that they get COVID-19. Wow. What was it that you were asking about? Belarus or Russia? I don't think that's going to happen. I think Russia's completely shut down. Belarus, I don't know. Let me see here. Russia began relaxing some of its restrictions on international flights. Make sure you check with your airline that your flight is running. On arrival, you need to show a medical certificate confirming you have tested negative for COVID-19 less than 3 days old, and you will need a certificate to confirm you have tested positive for the presence of COVID-19 antibodies. Wow. So you have to, not only do you have to test negative, but you also have to test positive for the antibodies. Those who develop symptoms during their stay or those who test positive will have to self-isolate until they have recovered. Temperatures are being checked at the airport. But let me see something here. Belarus is open to UK tourists. Those arriving from the UK with a medical certificate showing a negative coronavirus test result issued no later than 24 hours before entry will not need to self-isolate. Albania, all land borders apart from the border with Montenegro are open, and the border with Montenegro remains closed. No, Albania is not any more dangerous than anywhere else. I know somebody who lived there for a while. I think he lived there for like 2 years. He was finishing up his studies. Your teacher? Hey, what is your teacher? She's Thai?
My teacher, what?
She's Thai?
Yeah.
She's, how old is she?
Pretty old.
Pretty old. What happened to the one that was cute? Remember, didn't you used to have one, or was that Alex?
I don't know. Probably Alex.
Probably Alex. The one thing you got to remember is that right now, he don't care about anything other than getting to sleep and laying in bed. He really doesn't. I mean, he barely wants to eat. I'm gonna have to give him some electrolytes and some water. Make sure. I think he did take his medicine, but he really is. He doesn't feel very good. I can see it now. He's feeling worse. And he always wants to present the strong front, where Alex is a little different. Alex will just tell you exactly how it is. So, Philippines, almost 2,000, 1,900 dead, 1,843. I haven't been following this, because as long as I wear a mask and keep myself clean, wash my hands, wash my face, and that kind of thing, and I socially distance, which I try to do most of the time. I try to stay at least a couple feet away from somebody. If somebody's walking right by me, I look the other way, so I'm not going to breathe in their air. Just to be, listen, I don't want to take a chance. you know. And I don't know, let me see something here. What's his name? Come on, baby. Freaking internet. Here we go. You know, one thing that I have seen a lot of lately is a lot of these channels pushing that they know about, oh, there's great news with the stimulus package. Great news, great news. And then it's the same old shit you see you see on Fox and CNN, on every single channel. It's the same thing. They don't know anything different. They're not in the know. You know, they might have an hour, a couple hours. You know, if you haven't checked the news, they might have a little on you. I was talking about what's his name, Baldwin Bankrupt, who he caught the virus. He hasn't put up a video in quite some time, and it's basically from his own words was that he caught the virus and it took him a while to get past it. And I'm going to read what he wrote about his COVID story. He put a video up, and now that video is down. He writes, thanks to everyone who watched my COVID story. I have now deleted the video because it's time to move on from what was a grim month of my life and not be reminded about it constantly. Time to get positive, focus on getting healthy and starting planning the future. Also, too many nutters in the comment section asking me how much the government, Bill Gates, YouTube, paid me to create a fake story because the virus is fake. It sure felt real to me. Hope you and your family stay safe and well. Oh, and don't worry about the... I don't know what it's supposed to be. Looks like an eggplant to me, but anyway. So I thought that was interesting. And I've known a couple people. My buddy Scott, who has been in the stream before, he has a good friend who, his girlfriend was in the hospital. It was a government hospital, and it cost her 200,000 baht. But she had to be attached to the respirator and all this kind of stuff, you know. Well, I mean, you know, this is the problem, Johnny. You know, it's, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I mean, you know, the last thing that Trump wants is a bunch of people running around homeless because the government hasn't done enough to keep them safe, which when you think about it, the only thing that the government is supposed to do is implement their policies that have been voted upon by the people, and to make sure that the people are safe. They've only got to, it boils down to two things. Implement those policies, get things done, and keep the people safe, whether it's militarily or otherwise. And so, you know, if you look at it, they're not really doing a great job of it. And I can't say that it's all Trump's fault or all, you know, the leader of, what is it, Boris Johnson. You can't say it's all him. You can't say it's all Putin. You can't blame it all on these guys because sometimes there's just nothing you can do. And that's the problem with human beings. We always want an answer. We want to know why. Why couldn't you do more? Why didn't you do more? Why didn't you stop the virus? And sometimes it's just like, listen, we've done everything we can, and it's gonna get us no matter what. It's like if you're in the water with a shark, and you know, maybe it's gonna get you. And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna go, well, what'd you get in the water for? Well, because I had to swim to the other side, and I didn't have an option. I got bit by the shark. Well, you know, eventually people have to go out and make a living, or they're just going to sit in their house and wither away. And if the government doesn't help them, then who is going to? You can only, you know, borrow from your friends, borrow from families, borrow from your neighbor. You know, how many times can you go to your neighbor and go, hey, can I have some pasta noodles? You know, because I don't have any. Can you give me some pasta or some rice or something? How many times can you do that before they go, we're out? You know, it's just a shitty situation. I would like to see that. I would like to see the world get back to being productive, even if it means wearing a mask and, implementing strict guidelines that people are forced to adhere to. And by forced, I don't mean, shooting them if they don't wear a mask, but, listen, I mean, you got some guy who's making, $12, $14 an hour working at Costco. Some young guy, 23, 24 years old, and then somebody comes in and says, I don't want to wear a mask. And he goes, you got to, you have to. And then the guy shoots him, or the guy gives him a beating, throws him a beating or something. Well, this is the world we're living in right now. Well, yeah, I mean, maybe they are, but, what are you going to do? Do you want to go and get next to somebody who's got the virus and let them breathe all over you and take a chance that you might die? I mean, really? I don't know. I mean, I view it that medically, most doctors, the majority of doctors are not going to go along for the ride and just say, oh yeah, the virus is the cause of, it's the virus. I think there is a problem and it needs to be taken care of. But I think that you need to find a way, and you're going to have to accept the fact that people are going to die just like they die from the flu. I think eventually that's what's going to happen. And I've been saying that for a while, but I'll be surprised if things are back to normal ever. Ever. Well, look, restrictions on business. Listen, think about something. I'd like to go somewhere. Hey, if somebody said to me, Scott, I'll pay your way to the Congo, but you want to go? And I'd be like, well, I'd love to, but how am I going to get back into Thailand? Well, you're going to pay my way back into Thailand? Well, there's $3,000. Is it worth it? And then you're going to have to go through the red tape, and you're not even sure if you're going to be able to get in. You know what I mean? So the governments are restricting people and implementing policies that make it very difficult for people to live a normal life. And who knows if they're going to continue to enforce these. And the one thing that's going to happen, they're very low risk in the social. Yeah, but here's the thing, Gennaro. I don't know. Do you have kids? You got kids, Gennaro? Yeah, exactly, Ron. I was going to say that. But supposedly they're going to, extend that as well. I mean, do I want to send my kids to school? No, I don't. I prefer that, Alex is going to go part-time to university, go into the university part-time, and he's going to have to do online part-time. Nicholas is going to the school every day, and they make him, when he goes through, they make him get his temperature checked. And then when he goes in, he has to take off his shoes. He keeps shoes at the school inside of his classroom, and he has to wear those shoes every day inside the classroom, cannot wear them outside. They stay inside the room, and then everybody does the same thing there, and they're wearing masks inside the school. Do I like it? No, I don't. I'd rather he stayed home. Yeah, who's going to buy a house right now? Only the rich. The rich are going to get richer, and some people are going to get poorer. Majority of people are going to get poorer. Not everybody is lucky enough to be finished working, or they're a certain age where they've got a pension and they've got plenty saved, and people are not at that point. And, that sucks, but that's the way it is. And so, I hear all these things going around about the stimulus and the payroll cut. The payroll cut doesn't do shit for most people because it's a very short term. But the checks, if they give one check for $1,200 again, people are going to be pissed. And if people are getting evicted, people are going to be out on the streets. They're going to be living. It's going to be madness. And you got people like Mitch McConnell. To me, he seems like he don't give a shit. He really seems like he just doesn't care. Now, the Democrats, what they care about is spending a lot of money. They want to spend a lot of money. They want to get everything they want done. Wow. Yeah, I don't know where Richard is. He was talking about his savings and everything and how it's it's affected it but what are they gonna do? They're gonna let all the people roam the streets? You think there's problems now? Wait until the end of the year if people are evicted, they have no money. And what's $1,200 gonna do for somebody? All right, let's say they got a family. They get a one-time chunk of $4,800. Maybe they can pay their rent for 2 months with that, or to pay their mortgage for 2 months, or say 3, and they have money left over for 3 months for food. What are they gonna do afterwards when people are still locked down? And how's the government gonna be getting money? They're just gonna keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. It's a scary time, man. And that's why, like I'm saying, listen, I want to be out of the norm. I don't want to be in any of that, because the one good thing here is, like, for instance, we live in a house. Our rent is like $200 a month. That, and we set that up purposely because we have a lot of other expenses, like the kids and, everything that entails, and insurance but in the United States, somebody's living in San Francisco and they're paying, $2,500 a month for a little shoebox, or they're in New York paying $5,000 for a shoebox. How are they going to get by on? What are they going to do? And it's all about, hey, listen, I'm gonna have to resort to slinging drugs. You got good people. They're gonna be like, well, listen, I don't know anything else to do. I got to support my family. And you got other people that are gonna go out and violently attack people so they can take what they have. I don't want to be there when, if and when it all kicks off. I don't want to be there. I want to have nothing. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I want to be as far away of that as possible, And that's what I mean. I'm lucky I'm here, because if I wasn't here, I'd be like, okay, where can I go? Where should I go? Where's good for me? What about my family? It raises a whole host of problems. And for people in the United States, I would imagine that more people than ever before are leaving the United States or leaving their particular state and going elsewhere because they believe it's safer, better, and it will provide a better future for them. I don't mean to get too serious today, but serious is serious does. It's just the way it is right now, So well, I mean, you look at all the problems that are going on. It was somebody asked today. They asked Trump, well, why are you accusing all the places that are bad of being Democratic states? They're states run by Democrats. He's like, because they are. Look at all the places. They're all, And, I've said it before. To me, it's just a label. Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. What matters is the choices that are being made and the implementations that are happening. And I don't like look at AOC. I saw a great meme yesterday of her where they had her, if you see her like in certain angles, she actually looks like a pretty good looking woman. You think about it. She's not bad, She's not, model quality or anything. But they had a meme of her where she's next to a horse with the big, huge buck teeth, and they're both braying, and they got their mouths open. It's hilarious. You just look it up, AOC and the donkey or AOC and the horse or whatever. But their mouths look exactly the same. And all of a sudden I was like, she's not very good looking. She doesn't look very good to me now. So, what else we got here? Yeah, so I'm wondering what you guys think about the stimulus package. What are they going to do for people? And I'm not talking about I don't really care about the payroll cut. As far as I'm concerned, they don't need to give the big businesses anything. It's funny, but, I was thinking about the airlines and how if they don't give the airlines money, if governments don't give the airlines money, what's going to happen? Is nobody going to be able to fly? No. what'll happen is somebody will swoop in, buy up the company, and they'll be flying again. There may be a little overlapping period of time when people can't fly on certain airlines, but they'll buy them out, and people will be able to fly just like before. Fares might be more expensive, might be more of a pain in the ass to fly, but you know, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop flying. So hopefully we'll find out in the next week or two, because if we don't find out in the next week or two, there's a whole month that will go by before they make another decision. They make well, hopefully they can come to a decision, but before they make their decision on what's what. So if they got to wait another month, that means people have to wait another month. People are getting evicted. People don't have as much money. It's just like, it's popping off. That's the only way I know how to say it. It's popping off. I don't even want to talk about Hong Kong, Taiwan, China. I don't want to talk about any of those places because it's disgusting what's happening. The United States, I'm like, it's even more than disgusting. I'm just so flabbergasted with everything. I don't know what to say. It's like, you're going to have a black national anthem? Aren't we all Americans? I don't care what your skin color is. If you want to make it about skin color, then that's a different story. Then we're going to be just, we'll be just like South Africa used to be. I mean, if that's how they want it to be, then that's what it'll break down to. That's not going to happen, I don't think. I hope not. But it's beyond ridiculous at this point. So, anyway, now if you haven't already clicked thumbs up, please do. I'd appreciate it if you do. Unbelievable. Yeah, click thumbs up. I gotta laugh. The other day, I go and I pop open the window to start my stream, and I look, and it had 1 thumbs up and 6 thumbs down. Hadn't even started the stream, nothing. 6 thumbs down. I go, whatever. I go away. I come back, 20 minutes later. I'm like, getting ready to start the stream, and I look, and there's 3 thumbs up and 0 thumbs down. They all got deleted. And that's because somebody gets banned. YouTube bans them. Somebody, there are a lot of people who, I guess maybe right now, there's a lot of people who have plenty of time, and they can do whatever they want on YouTube or wherever else. I mean, if you want to see trolling, go to Twitter. It's unbelievable. Twitter, I can't even look at Twitter for more than about 3 minutes before I get sick of it and just say enough. You want to talk about political and racial nonsense going on, that's where it's at. Anyway, for those of you who would like to support the channel, you can do so by heading over to anamericaninbangkok.com, or you can check out the description below the video window. Like I said, if you have yet to subscribe, please do so. Click the notification bell. Smash that notification bell. And that way, YouTube will notify you. If you like today's stream, click like, click share, leave a comment. And I will make a decision I think I'll have it made by the next stream, which maybe it'll be, what's today, Thursday? Depending on what's going on with Nick and the family. Convince leftists to join Suicide Day to lower the white. Yeah, that's gonna work. Hello? Again? Wow. The room is clean. But anyway, hopefully I'll have a decision made by Sunday. Maybe I'll stream on Sunday. Usually I would stream on Sunday. Depends on what's going on, and how Nicholas feels and everything. Time for your enema. Aren't you thrilled? There's no nurses in here now. There's the cleaning lady. And technically, you're not supposed to have video cameras or anything, taking photos or anything like that. So I want to keep it on the lowdown. You know, but there's Nick. Huh? His food is here. They give him his food at like 11 o'clock. He hasn't got much rest today. I know he's going to knock out this afternoon. He's going to be out for a good 6-8 hours. Anyway, click like, click share, or share, whatever. Leave a comment. You know, on Sunday, I'll make a decision about where I'm going to go. Hopefully, I'll have it finalized. I'll know how much it'll cost. I'll know everything. But there is the poll in the community tab. So if you haven't decided yet or voted yet so that I can see, please do so. I'm leaning towards up to you, which is up to me. And I have an idea where I want to go and what I want to do. Hopefully it'll be as exciting as the last time. Hopefully I'll get a video done. Today's Thursday. I'll have a video going up tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have it all done. I'll have some videos scheduled and I won't have to work on it for a while. And I can just concentrate on, you know, making sure that the kids get better and everything. Because, you know, Alex is on his own right now. He'll be over here probably in another hour. And then he'll stay here until 6 and he'll go home. And, you know, he wants to see his little brother. He takes such good care of him that Nicholas will tell him to leave him alone. Stop giving me water, you know? Anyway, it could be worse. He could just, you know, not care. So it's good that he does care. They care about each other. They're Pinong. He's out. Anyway, that's all I got. So thank you very much for joining me. Stay safe, be well, and until next time, at least the money people don't come in every day. No, they don't. No, they don't, but you know why? Because they know that the insurance is going to cover it all. You know, believe me, I wouldn't be in such a good mood. You know, the mood that I'm in right now, if it was like we had to pay for everything, because, you know, Alex's bill was almost $2,000 US the last time. So that would be, let's say, another $2,000 for Nicholas. That would be $4,000 we'd have to come up with. Unbelievable, you know. But people get sick. It happens. Fortunately, the insurance will cover most of it. So anyway, that's all I got. So until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. See you later. Choke D. All that good stuff. Okay. Wants to clean the bathroom. You know, this is the thing. They got 50 people coming in. How can the kids sleep? I'm talking. As soon as I'm done, you know, there'll be another 50 people coming in. It's like in the middle of the night. They never let me sleep. I'm like, what about the kid? I mean, he's knocked out. If I was him and they woke him up, I'd be pissed. You know, they're trying to take care of him, but like me, they're turning the lights off and on and off and waking me up on the hour. So, Nicholas, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Your eyes hurting?
Yeah.
And we'll turn all the lights off in a minute, okay? All right. Yeah, Mr. Longhorn says, Mr. Billy says, make sure you take a dump first. Because she's cleaning the toilets now. You can go in there, do your business, and then knock out. I'll turn all the lights off, and you can do your thing. So thank you for letting him know that, Mr. Longhorns. I'm sure he appreciates it. Not that I don't make sure that he needs to take care of his business either. His eyes are hurting right now. Anyway, that's all I got. So we'll see you later, all right? Jerk on my and all that good stuff. Jerk on. See ya.